All right, I see. Okay, we're live again, everybody. Good morning, ladies. It is Wifey Wake Up this beautiful Friday morning. I hope you're all doing great. And as you'll note, as usual, I am fresh out of bed. Well, I've had a little bit of time yet already to prepare, but no makeup, no hair done. Fortunately, I straightened my hair yesterday, so uh, it came out decent this morning. We'll see how future mornings are going to be. And like I mentioned yesterday, my husband actually encouraged me to do this straight out of bed and no preparation as far as hair and makeup and stuff. And we didn't actually talk about it. I just trusted him that this advice would be right because he's been right about so many things. So I just kind of took a deep breath like I just did and thought, well, at least that takes a good half hour or so out of my preparation. And maybe that's part of it as well. But I think part of it, and I'll have to ask him here over the weekend, what his idea was behind encouraging me to do this without doing my hair and makeup ahead of time. And I think part of it is just to be real. You see the real me. That's what I'm trying to convey also in these podcasts, that this is I'm in my 24th year of marriage, which is, it's astounding to even be able to say that. We just became great aunts and uncles, or grandparents already, but great aunts and uncles. And like each time like the first time you become an aunt or an uncle, I mean, that's a landmark, or that's a milestone is what I meant to say. And so it's just amazing when you come to these points in life. So the point is to be real. There's so much out there these days, especially with AI, that we don't know what is real. And so why not be kind of like decently raw? And by decent, I mean, like, sometimes there's a little too much reality out there, and it's like, okay, let's have some really great examples. Hopefully I'm aiming to be a great example. And so with that premise, prelude to today's talk, I want to talk about maintaining long-term attraction with your man. Now, if you are dating, this can help you as well, because anything that I'm teaching you here can help in the dating realm as well. Why? Because first of all, it's very helpful to practice these principles as soon as possible. As soon as you can incorporate these principles into your way of being, the better, because it becomes more natural. Plus, in my opinion, you will attract a better guy. And I'm assuming if you're watching Wifey School, you hear the term wifey and you're like, I want to be wifey. And when you start practicing these principles, you put out those vibes and attract the guy that is looking for those vibes. So you'll start attracting more of the right guy. If you're already in a long-term relationship, and hopefully that, in my opinion, hopefully that's a marriage. And by marriage, I would say these days, even if it's a social marriage, like you've had a social ceremony. There are actually countries, I'm naming Brazil in particular, where they have a religious ceremony and they have the civil ceremony. And because in the United States we can so easily get a marriage certificate, we don't even really recognize that. But technically, you are married. If you do both, you are married civilly, and maybe civilly, like going to the courthouse, right? That's probably where it's more apparent, or in a what is it? Religious, but just among your peers. And I think that is that is I think more significant when you do it in front of your peers. So I mean a group, not just in a courthouse. I think it's a little bit, it's different. And courthouse again, that is the civil marriage. Anyways, that was a bit of a tangent. But let's get into maintaining long-term attraction with your man. So of course, if you're in that long-term relationship, like I said, and hopefully that is marriage, that you know we all know that the divorce rate is so high, and I think this is one of the primary reasons, and that is we start getting into life, right? And the honeymoon phase goes away. But how do you maintain that more honeymoon likeness? And I'm going to address just one aspect of this today, and that is just your attitude. And of course, I'm talking to women. Your attitude. And I'll tell you, I am the biggest culprit of this, and I still face this every day. So by no means am I saying that I'm perfect in this. I'm working at it every day, and I'm aware of it, and that's why, specifically why I'm sharing it, because I can see how much of an impact it has. And that is your attitude, just having a good attitude. And I know sometimes it's so hard when stuff is happening in life and it's just like it's coming from all directions. And having a good attitude is not just for the other person in your relationship. It's not just to make them happy. It's not for that. Although that's a good reason. If you're married, you want to make the other person happy. Now, happiness is their responsibility, but to do things, I should say, that are pleasing to them. And certainly having a good attitude is high on that list. Maybe let's just do this. Imagine for a moment a person in your life who has a bad attitude. You don't want to be around them. Sorry, I need to grab a sip of water. I keep pausing. Sometimes it's easier to think of this in our external. So thinking of someone in our lives that is or does not have a good attitude, and just how difficult they are to be around. And then if the situation is already difficult, that their bad attitude just makes it even more difficult. And so sometimes experiencing that on the outside is a good reminder, like, okay, note, don't be like that. And so imagine being with someone for years that has a bad attitude. And maybe you do have someone in your life that's like that. But I think it's our responsibility, particularly those who, when we're married, it's our responsibility to still show up at our best. Think back to when you were dating, you did your hair, your makeup, you made sure you might have had a bad day at work, but you're like, I'm going out, I'm going to have a good time, I'm excited to see this person, I love being around him. And you change your attitude around, right? Just a moment, I have a tickle in my throat. And because you were so excited to see this person, almost nothing could take you down. And when life goes on, it can be hard to tap back into that. It's just like then you're just going through life with them. But it's important, and like I said, I am the biggest culprit of this. I've had to really, really, really address this and address my attitude every day. How am I waking up? What are the thoughts that I'm waking up with? And how does that set the tone for my day? Hence, Wifey, wake up, right? What are the thoughts that are starting our day? You play a role. Everybody plays a role in the day, in their life. And if everybody's just doing one positive thing, imagine if everybody just did one outwardly positive thing in the day that positively affected someone else, how much different our world would be. And you can start. I think the starting ground is you have to start in your home. If you're not doing that in your home and you're doing that elsewhere, that's great, that's nice, but I see it as it needs to radiate outwards, because there's so much power when you have a happy home, and how much more powerful that is than just dropping those rays of sunshine elsewhere. Still drop them elsewhere, by all means, but please start in your home. So one of those things I think how we get there is gratitude. Again, this has been super difficult for me to tap into. And this is why I'm sharing, because I don't know about you, but I would have gratitude journals, read about how to do gratitude, and it would just escape me. Like I could do it for a while and then it would just fizzle away. And, but it's so important. And I don't mean just for manifesting. I think we kind of need to break away from the manifesting mentality for a while and just kind of sit with ourselves, because the manifesting, here's what I want to delineate. The manifesting, I'll have gratitude so I can have that energy feeling and attract what I want towards me. Well, your intention counts too. But so if you have gratitude, if you practice gratitude in order to create a more happy, let's just say happy environment, that has a different intention. That is a gift to other people rather than I want these things in my life, so I'm going to have an attitude of gratitude. I'm going to say that again. When you practice with the intention of having gratitude in order to have a radiate wonderful feelings to those around you and within you, rather than practicing gratitude because that's the state of mind and energy that you need to have to manifest, which often is oriented around what can I get for me. Very different energies, very different intentions. And so, again, the topic of this podcast is maintaining long-term attraction with your man. You can attract him initially, of course, with that your lovely appearance and bubbly personality. But long term, guys actually expect those things to continue. This kind of blew my mind when I heard this. I mean, it kind of makes sense. I guess we all expect what we begin our relationship with to continue, right? But guys especially, like, they're really surprised, like, wow, she's not as eager to see me, or she's just not as happy to be around, or there's so many more things that she's picky about. And so getting back to gratitude for the sake of gratitude, so you can feel content and happy within yourself, and then that radiates out. That's your gift. That's your manifestation. And then, yes, of course, what does happen is when you have those feelings of gratitude, that radiates out, and you then attract, people are more attracted to you in general. You attract more opportunities, not even just with relationships. You attract more opportunities in life, and that draws more to you. And you'll also, in a sense, you'll also be more lucky. And it's kind of amazing how that all, it's a great snowball effect. But practicing that gratitude so that it's a gift to you and to those around you, and the things will manifest on their own. So to wrap up, maintaining long-term attraction with your man, of course, men are attracted to your outward appearance initially. That dating phase in particular, think back to the dating phase, or maybe if you are still dating, what kind of energy are you putting out? I think we think of this a lot when we're dating, but once we start getting into the long-term relationship or even marriage, we don't think about that as much. But what is our energy like? And going back to the beginning of this podcast, if you've ever been around someone, we've all been around someone who has a really bad attitude, how it just drains you of energy. And why would you want to do that in your relationship? Why not feed energy into your relationship? And here's one way that you can simply practice gratitude. And that I needed this trick. I really needed this trick. And this came from my husband. So I got to give him credit for this. In order to practice gratitude, what is it that you feel that you could not live without? And maybe not just feel like, but what could you not live without? And rather than trying to write a long list in a gratitude journal, just pick out one thing. is one thing that you feel that, I'm going back to feeling, but it really, I guess it is a feeling oriented thing. Name one thing that you would not want to live without, and that will just sit with that. And you might even feel like a sadness come up of a longing of missing that, but then it flips around and it turns into gratitude, and it can really well up in you. And again, you're to maintain the long-term attraction, which will also help with the initial attraction, is just having a good attitude. And it will not only help, it will end up helping you too. If your initial intention is to be able to attract someone, a great guy into your life, and to maintain that wonderful man in your life, even if your initial intention is that, it will also benefit you, and you'll be very glad that you did. As always, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share this with a friend that you think may benefit from this, and put your questions in the comments below. Also, I've got plenty of ideas for upcoming Wifey Wake Up podcasts, which are every morning except for Sundays at 6 a.m. or maybe shortly after. And so turn on your notifications in order to get be notified. Recordings will be there, of course. And make sure to go to wifeyschool.us, and that's where all the recordings will be. Instagram doesn't allow us to post these long form recordings, but if you go to wifeyschool.us or Wifey School on YouTube, you will see all the recordings there. And as always, take care, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.